Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back here for another mentoring session with Joey. So I'm gonna set up the room real quick, and then we're gonna get started shortly. Let me just set this up right here. Third. All right. Send this link out to Joey real quick. All right. Nice. All right, let me just finish this up real quick. And then I'm just gonna wait for Joey to enter this room. Should be here shortly. So let me just get this going. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just waiting for Joey to show up. Should be here shortly. Man, so the market's moving pretty wacky today, guys. There's Joey. Hey, Joey, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, bro, I can hear you. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good, dude. Just hanging in there, man. This week's been crazy. I don't know if you've been trading, but market's been bouncing back and forth. Seems like.
Man, we got hit with a huge snowstorm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been shoveling.
Oh, yeah, I know it's crazy, man. David, he's one of the guys on the East Coast too. He's been shoveling too, and I'm like, I can never imagine me shoveling snow. I'd never want to see myself in that situation.
It was probably like close to 2 feet, definitely over a foot.
Damn, dude, that's crazy, man. I can't do cold weather like that. I don't know how you guys do it.
Dude, it's not. I mean, I'm used to it, but there are some days where it like really cuts through your jacket.
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, I was talking to David about it the other day. I was like, dude, it's crazy how you guys have snow days. Like, I only see snow days in like movies. I've never like thought that like it really happens in real life.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's funny.
Oh man, this was a good one to experience.
Yeah.
It started Sunday afternoon, and it just stopped like last night.
Dude, that's crazy, man. I can't do that. Being like cooped up at home all day because of being snowed in, I guess.
You get a Subaru, dude.
Right? Not a bad idea.
Actually, today was pretty fun because some of the roads still had snow on them, so I was doing a little fishtails and drifting and stuff.
Oh, dude, that's pretty dope. That's sick. Let me see. I think Kyle just joined. Yeah, Kyle. Try talking, Kyle. I'm gonna see if yours works. I just unmuted you. Oh yeah, yours is working. You're good.
Yo.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, dude. So let's see. What do you guys want to cover today?
I kind of just want to like watch you go back some time and just like analyze, like say like I got home from work, I'm about to jump into look at the charts and start like scalping. I kind of
Yeah.
want to see like what goes through your mind when you first jump on and you're looking at it. And
Actually, yeah. Like, so for example, right here, like this is real time for US 30. Basically, if I'm scalping, the main thing I'm looking for is a rejection off a pivot and structure. You know, just that double confirmation right there. If I see this right here, I never really second guess it. If I see a clean rejection like that, and obviously the pivot's really far from the body, I would just enter a long position right there. Unfortunately, I didn't take this. I had a lot of sessions today, so haven't really been trading too much. I don't really like trading when I'm not able to focus 100%. So like, for example, here, if I was to see this, I would have taken this. So this is technically active right now. So that'd be one entry right there. I mean, there's a couple entries right here as well. I don't think these would have won though. Let me see.
But like if you're just coming on right now, you're not going back. You're not looking at any other time frames. Like,
okay, yeah. So if I'm looking for an entry right here, if I just hop on the computer right now and I'm looking for a trade, what I'd be waiting for is I'd wait for this price to come down or it doesn't necessarily have to come down that far. I'm just looking for another rejection. So the same pattern right here, where the wick rejected off the pivot and the structure, I'll be looking for that over here as well. So like if this was to push up, say if it pushes up a little bit, and then it comes back down, and then as it comes down, these pivots are probably going to be at that point. These pivots are probably going to be over here. So if we see that same rejection like this somewhere over here, that's when I would take the trade. Do you get what I'm looking at right here?
Yeah. So it's really just seeing that, like in the zone, rejection off a wick, and boom, you're opening the next candle. You're taking the trade. There isn't really much to it then.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing really much to it. It's the same setup every single time. I mean, obviously, in other situations, it's going to be different. If like it's moving too fast or if it's like an iffy trade. But during Asia session, it moves super slow. So you're probably going to be able to find some decent entries. It's just, you're not going to find them right away. Like for example, right here, if this ends up shooting up and it's like a green candle, so you can kind of see if I zoom in closer, it's kind of closing above. If it closes green, it's probably going to be above this structure right here and above the pivot. So if that happens, you're probably going to see an entry similar to this right here. Because you can kind of see how this one over here, this current candle, is red, right? So if it's red, that means that this was just farther down here. So this body was way down here. But as it closed, it came up. So it closed as a green candle. And then you see the rejection off the pivot in the structure. So if you saw that, it'd be the same thing that we're looking for right over here. When the candle closes, there's still 7 minutes left on this candle. So there's a lot of time for it to swing back up and close above. So if that happens, we could take this for entry as well. It'd be the same setup that we have right here, but just over here. You kind of get what I'm saying with that?
Yeah. Because I was practicing over the weekend, and I was getting like two. I don't know what you want to call it, but I was taking like risky entries.
Oh, where they weren't like clean rejections?
Yeah, it was like close. It was like real close.
Yeah.
And I hit on one, and then I was like, oh, let me try it again, and I started losing like a bunch of trades.
Gotcha.
So I guess it has to be very clear, right?
For the most part, if you want a safe trade, yeah, it should be pretty clear. Like this right here, where there's like no guess, it's like literally clean rejection, huge wick, and rejection off the structure. This is like, a no-brainer. You take this trade. This right here might be a risky one. The one next to it, this red one, or actually, no, this is a clean one too. It's like cleanly off it. I'm gonna try to find a tricky one. So like
that red one's an entry there.
This one right here.
Yeah. No, the one next to it. Which one are you talking about?
I was talking about this one right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a. Where is that off the? I don't see the pivot.
The pivot's right here. This yellow one.
Oh, I can't see that on my screen. Okay.
I'll change the color just for since we're testing it. Let me see if I can make it something brighter. Double click that. Yeah, so we'll just change it.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay, now I see it.
Right below it, yeah. So that would be an entry there as well. So this green one would be an entry. This red one would be an entry. This red one right here would be, or this green one would be. So this is a tricky one. This would be a tricky one because the green cuts through the body. So this might be one that's a little risky. It's not that risky because it's literally just grazing it, but I would consider it risky if I was to be looking at that real time, even though it would hit. It's just one of those where it's like not 100% clear whether it would have been a good entry or not.
Now, does it have to be every pivot? If any of the pivots go through the candle, does that automatically?
It's just the pivot that it rejects off. So say for example here, so if it rejects off like the let me see if I can find one where it let me see. Okay, so like for this one right here, this red one right here that we were just looking at, you can see that it rejects off the orange pivot, but the blue pivot's going through it. So these are irrelevant. The only ones that are important are the ones below it. So it'd be the one that it actually rejects off it. This is the only one that can't be going through the body. The other ones are fine. It's up here.
And have you tested this on pairs yet, or is it just indices?
I personally have only used it on GJ. on the 30-minute. I know other people have used it on other pairs. Some of the you have to use something that moves fast, like something that moves kind of similar to US 30, because obviously if it's moving too slow, you're not going to be able to scalp anything. But I found that it works good on GA, GN, EA, and EN as well. So basically all of the Euro and GBP pairs that cross with the Aussie or New Zealand dollar, because they move pretty quick compared to other pairs. And another one that moves smoothly is GJ. So GJ is one of the ones I use as well. But when I do scalp it, I actually scalp it on the 30-minute because the 10-minute is just too I mean it works, but I feel like the 10-minute is a little too tight. Let me just go over here and check it. I haven't really tried it on the 10-minute. Let me see if I go over here for this one. Pull up GJ.
And are you saying like Asia session or just whenever?
Just whenever. I mean, you can typically scalp whenever. It's just whenever there's an entry. If you see an entry, you can take it. But looking here at GJ, this is one that I personally like to scalp because it moves smoothly.
This is Kyle's pair.
GJ, yeah, no,
Yeah.
GJ is pretty nice. It moves kind of similar to US 30 with its like when it respects structure and when it respects these pivots. So like looking at this here on the 10-minute, the only reason I don't like using it on the 10-minute is because there's a lot of noise. You'll see some good trades and you'll see some like trades that are really close. Let's see if we can find in here. So like, so this would be like an entry right here, like something like this. The only problem with going on the shorter time frames is trying to find the sweet spot for TP stop loss, because I haven't tested it enough to really figure out what's the sweet spot. I think for the 10-minute, it'll probably be maybe 10 or 15 pips. That'd probably be the sweet spot to scalp it. But on the 30-minute, you can go between 25 and 30 pips. That's generally where I scalp it because the 10-minute just it just doesn't work as good with the Forex pairs. I mean, it technically does, but it's not as clean. Like you can see here that there's a lot of noise when you're looking at it on the 10-minute. So this is the 10-minute where it's kind of noisy, versus the 30-minute where it's a lot smoother how it moves. So I personally trade Forex. I'll scalp Forex on the 30-minute. But I've seen other people who do it on the 10-minute and they do just as fine. It's just you have to figure out what the sweet spot is for your TP stop loss, because it seems like there's a lot more fake outs on the shorter time frame versus the higher ones.
When you do 30-minute, are you using your 30-minute zones or are you using the 10-minute zones?
30-minute zones.
Okay.
So like, yeah, if I look at this here, so basically whenever I scalp, I just use the zones for that specific time frame because I want to see what are the zones for that time period. Because obviously you're trading, if you're trading on the 30-minute, you want to make sure that you have the zones that are respective to that specific time frame or that time zone. Because if you're say if you're trading on the 10-minute, but you're using 30-minute zones, those zones might be so far from price where you'll never find an entry because it's so spread out. Like comparing these zones, these 30-minute zones to the 10-minute zones, these are pretty spread out. So if I draw these here, let me see if I could possibly draw this and then maybe go on the 10-minute to see if they're like too far apart.
Oh, another question. When you're drawing the zones for just say scalping, right?
Yeah.
Are you trying to draw each like zone individually, or can you combine some of them?
So for the scalping, here, this is what I do. So you can see right here that we have like this big, usually I like to go from the left where the zones are created, because you can see when they're created, like from which specific.
Yeah.
So like for right here, if I also draw this zone right here, and then I see that this green zone is within it, right? Like it's kind of overlapping. So if I see that, I'll connect those together if they're overlapping. And then this right here, you can probably connect this one as well because it's so close. Or you can do it separately. I mean, it wouldn't really matter because if you draw them like that, it's still going to look like it's connected for the most part.
Yeah.
So
like the two on the bottom, you're not connecting those, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't connect those because there's a big enough gap right here where there could be like a wick rejection, but it won't be off the other one. So that's why I wouldn't use that.
Yeah,
because
that was another. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, because the zones for scalping are going to be way more important than they are on the higher time frames. Because for the higher time frames, we're just looking for price to break the zone and then reach to the next one. You know, if we're using the K2SR strategy. But for scalping, you have to be really on point with the rejections to have that full confirmation.
Yeah, that was a question I had when I was practicing. I was wondering, like, if it because I was combining some, and I'm like, I wonder if this matters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's Billy. Hey, Billy, how's it going, bro?
What's happening, man?
What's up, dude? But yeah, Joy, yeah, so that was like one of the questions you had there for the zones. It's not a huge like importance because the zone rejections are a secondary confirmation. It's not the main one. Obviously, pivots would be more important. But if you want to be like on point, obviously, you know, you'd want the zones for to be pretty on point. You don't want to have like a gap. Like I'm trying to find an example here where it rejects off like a specific area, but not the other one. So let me see. There's kind of one like this one right here, sort of. This
If
one
you
right.
were in like a cell, right, that wouldn't be a good. If the pivots were above it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a prime example. Because like for example here, if you had these connected, or if like let me see if I can move this up. Yeah, if this was connected upwards, like that, and you would get screwed if you were this one right here.
Yeah, Billy, mute your phone.
Or else move Billy real quick. There we go. Yeah, Joey. So like for example, here you saw how I drew that, right? Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference if you connect those two versus when they're separated. Because if you were to connect them, I'm trying to, what do I do with that? Yeah, if you connect these two right here, you probably would have taken this little trade right here. You probably would have gone screwed, you know, for both of these trades over here versus having it spread out like
Yeah.
that, where you would have just skipped this one right here.
And like, see, I would look at that and kind of be tempted. Like, did it touch the top zone? That's what.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was caught. I was getting caught with that when I was practicing.
Yeah, and one thing that I do too is, so for example, if I was to take, so if I took this sell right here, right, you know, obviously this would be a loss. So if I end up taking this trade right here, you know, I take a sell there, and then it stops me out, then I wouldn't take any more sells from that point. I would wait for a price to swing above it for the buys, and then I would take some buys. That's usually my rule. So if I end up taking a loss in one direction, I'll take a break and then wait for it to shift the other way. Because you know, basically, when price moves back and forth, it's going to swing from like buys to sells. So if you take one loss and a buy, then I take a break and I just look for sells. And if I take a loss for a sell, I would take a break and then just wait for buys to appear. You kind of get what I'm saying with that?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Are
Yeah.
you when you're looking for the switch between buy and sell? Are you waiting for just the green pivot to cross over, or are you waiting for them to space out a little bit?
No, I'm just waiting for an actual entry. So you can see right here. So for example, right here we have you know a rejection right here for a sell, right?
Oh, so you would, if you're in a buy, you're looking at that, you see that good entry, you might just take a sell.
Uh, exactly, or the opposite. So right here, if I was in a sell and then I ended up losing on this trade, because obviously it would lose because if we took this trade here, it would just go straight to stop loss. So if that happened, then I would wait for it to swing the other way for a buy. And then like, for example, there's a sell here and then followed up right here, there's a buy. So if I end up taking a loss on that and then I see a buy in the opposite direction, I would switch from a sell to a buy and then pretty much just write it this way.
You wouldn't, if you were looking at that first circle, you wouldn't care about the red and the orange pivots that they were underneath it, and you would still take that sell.
This one right here. So that's where it becomes subjective. Like for me personally, I probably wouldn't have taken this. But you know, just going from like the requirements, because like I try to keep things as simple as possible, because like this is something that you kind of pick up as you go. Because like for me, I can just stare at a chart, like just look at something from a bird's eye view, and then I can kind of tell if it's too strong up. Like if I was looking at this from this point, I obviously wouldn't take that sell, right? Because it's such a strong momentum up. For other people, it's kind of different because they're not used to identifying that. Like some people still don't understand how the pivots work. You know, obviously when it's spread out, it means that the trend up is pretty strong. So if I was to see this here, I wouldn't have taken this trade to begin with.
Yeah.
But in some instances, like this strategy has such a high win rate where you can literally take this trade, eat the loss, and then you'll make it back on this next one right here, right there. So you basically would have just made back, whatever loss you made off that trade off the next one right here.
Yeah, nice.
So for me, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Obviously, what we just talked about, like with identifying this trade right here, this is more, I wouldn't say it's super advanced, but it's not for beginners, right? Because if I throw this stuff at too many new traders, there's going to be a lot of confusion. So I try to keep it as simple as possible. Sometimes it's better to just eat the loss, because sometimes you get really lucky where this might actually work. Like sometimes it'll, if you take that trade like a sell, like there's no telling whether it's going to spike down at least X amount of pips for it to hit your team.
Wouldn't the entry be at the top of the candle?
Oh yeah, actually it'd be up here. Yeah. So for example, right here, if that was your entry, there's nothing stopping price from retracing down like far enough, because this happens all the time. You'll see price where it'll go down to like the last pivot.
Yeah, and then bounce back up.
It'll bounce right back up. Yeah. So that's why I don't want to sway people away from missing these, possible trades and adding to the environment. So like for this strategy, that's why I keep it as simple as possible. There's literally only two things that you look at, and they're literally the same thing. It's just that you're looking for that double confirmation, but it's pretty much the same confirmation.
Yeah, I noticed, even though I was like getting real risky with the calls I was, putting the trades in, I noticed right? I still broke even. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why for this specific strategy for scalping, I keep the risk pretty low. I keep it like below 1%, so that I can take like 10 or 20 trades, and then they end up balancing out towards the end, like the end of the day or the end of the week. There's not really I don't like to cap, my profits. Like I wouldn't mind taking a couple losses in order to reach that hot streak, where like in some instances where it has like a whole bunch of entries.
Yeah.
Trying to find one, because sometimes you'll find a hot streak where there's like 5 entries and they're all like hitting, like literally all of them hit CP. And that's pretty much the game of scalping. The game of scalping is it becomes a numbers game where you kind of just got to take every trade, and then it should end up balancing out, towards the end. That's why for me, I don't really look at the profits. I just take my trade, I'll set it, and then I'll just count my wins, because obviously if more wins than losses, then you should end up in profit at the end of the day or that session, or however you plan on trading it.
If you're say you're on this GJ, right, and you're doing I forgot what you said, was it 30 pips, 25 pips?
Yeah.
If you get in, like, when you're, this is just me because I'm new to this still. When you're, at what point do you personally look at the trade and you're in profit and you say, you know what, I'm going to start trailing my stop loss up? Like, is it 10 pips, 15, or do you just let it go?
For scalping or for
scalping, yeah.
So for scalping, say if I'm getting close to TP and I'm starting to feel a little risky, like I don't feel like it's going to be a good trade. Like, where's the example right here?
I feel like that with every trade.
Yeah, exactly. You have to work on the trade psychology for that. But more specifically, if I'm say if I'm in profit and it's getting close, like let me see this real quick. Well, for example here, yeah. So it's 30 pips. So for example, right here, if I'm only off by maybe a few pips, like something like that. If this happens and then I see price come down slightly, I'll just manually exit, because I'm not gonna throw away my profits just to lock in another 3 pips, Yeah, because when you scalp, you kind of have to be, actively watching it, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like literally, I mean, it's different for GJ because it moves a lot smoother. But if you're trading something like US 30, that thing's super erratic. It could go straight to like right below your TP, and then it'll just come crashing down. And then you're just like, what the heck? I could have just closed it out in profit.
That was another thing I was, when I was practicing, I noticed like there were some trades I missed, and I'm like, all right, if I took it at, I think I was doing 50 pips. So I'm like, if I took it at 40, I would have hit on every one of these trades. So I'm kind of working on, I guess, figuring out where to say, I'm taking this and not, forget the rest of the profit. I'm just going to take what I have now.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I don't really like teaching scalping to like beginner traders or like people who don't really know how to read the charts, because you really have like a split second to think about it, right? Like you get to like 40 pips and you're like, and you see it drop to 30 and you're like, shit, should I just close out right now? Like for me, like I just close out. Like if I see that happening, I'm like, well, I'm gonna close out. I don't care if I like lost out on 20 pips or 200 pips because I still locked in 30. Because the main goal of scalping is to just lock in profits. That's the main goal. It's different from like intraday trading, because intraday trading, you let a trade run and you just let it run for like hours, if not days. But with scalping, you're taking so many trades. It's all about volume, right? So if you take like 3 trades and you close out at half TP, that's better than having, you know, X amount of trades and then suffering losses because you didn't want to close it and you just wanted to set and forget, basically.
I do that with even your US 30 calls. Once it goes so far into profit, I start trailing my stop loss.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I do the same thing too. Well, I do like a couple other things too. Like sometimes I'll trail the stop loss, or sometimes I'll take the TP off and I'll just trail the stop loss so I can go farther and farther up.
Okay. How much do you give between price and stop loss on the US 30? I was doing like, for a while, I was doing like 20 pips, 25 pips.
Yeah, you know, it depends, because like it depends on when I'm trading. If I'm trading like during a New York session or something like that, or London session, I'll probably keep a bigger gap because it's moving so fast. But if I'm trading Asia session where it's like, you know, it's slow, that's where you can kind of move it a little tighter because it's only moving a few pips per minute or per hour. So I think it depends on the session you're trading and like the volatility at the time. So if there's a lot of volatility, you want to keep some space in between, like some cushion. But if you're just trading on the shorter time frames, you can like literally just, you know, slide it up like how you normally do.
Oh, you know what I noticed? I was telling Kyle over the weekend on the US 30 scalps. I noticed like every single time I had a clean entry, whenever I hit TP, the TP candle was another entry.
Oh, it was another.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, but it was crazy. Like the ones that I did, I forget what time. It was probably from last week.
Yeah, was it on
but
the
minute? I was doing, you know, like how you click the one candle to go one candle ahead when you go back. Like if you're going, instead of hitting play, you're just going one candle at a time.
Yeah.
I was going too fast, and I it was like the third trade in. I noticed, like, dude, like there's those past 3 trades, I had an entry at every, you know, full TP, and I started taking like double. So I don't know if that happens every time, but it happened a lot when I was practicing.
Yeah, so that's what I was mentioning earlier. Like sometimes you'll find like some hot streaks. They just happen at a random. Like there'll be a time where price will just be bouncing off the pivot every single time. Like let me see if I can find one. Like for example, over here, like this US 30 over here, there's like a whole bunch of entries right here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can like technically stack those if you feel comfortable with it. Or sometimes you'll have one right here like this hits. Let me see if it's TP over here. Yeah, so this hits TP over here, and then it stacks into like another position right there. So like
and then that candle that hit is an entry, right?
Exactly, yeah. So like for here, you can enter this, and then as soon as that hits, this one would close, and it would actually close after this one hit full TP. So after that closes, you can enter like right away for this one as well, right there. But this one looks a little risky. Oh, it's kind of close. I don't know if it might have hit TP stop loss or it might have not. It just really depends on
if you when you're, you know, back testing, does TradingView know what hit first on the candle or the wicks?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So like for example here, yeah, because I know sometimes you'll like run it and then it'll show whether it. I think usually if this points to whatever point, it'll indicate that that's what hit first.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes if you have this, for example, here where it like, I'm gonna try to find one where it's. Let's see, okay, it's like right here. It's not gonna work. I was trying to find it where you could like kind of move the thing together. Let me see if I can find something here. Okay, so like this right here, or no.
Yeah, it was one candle that hit TP and it hit stop loss the same 10 minutes, but it hit stop loss first. So I was wondering if.
Oh yeah, so it's kind of hard to see whether it hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one first. Yeah, no. I'm trying to find an example here if I could find one. Let me see. We basically got to see where price is ranging. So like maybe Oh, maybe like something right here. Let me see if I could. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to find because you kind of have to see it like when it. I mean, if you have an example, you could probably pull it up. But you.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what time it was, but it was a huge candle.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll see candles like that where it shoots up and it shoots down like on market open.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets tricky because it happened to me one time where I had an actual live trade and it literally, I don't know if you were in that trade, but it was like last week for US 30 where it spiked up and it spiked down. But
that was probably the one that I was practicing on because it was like 9:30.
Yeah, exactly.
Was an entry. Yeah.
It was like in the morning, right? Or
yeah, it was a huge candle too. The wicks were huge. It was a red candle, but the
top bottom wick was like huge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was using because I was in the actual trade. Like I was so pissed because I woke up in the morning and I was like, what the heck? Like I thought it hit TP, but then it stopped me out before it hit the TP. I can't remember when it was, but I knew it was sometime like last week. It's kind of a weird candle. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It was a huge move too for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I think it was, it's this one right here. I think this red one. Or no, this green one right here. I don't know if it was this one, but it was something like this. It was this type of candle where it was just like little to no body, but a huge wick on both sides. Yeah, I'm not sure where it's at. Actually, it was this one right here. I think it was this candle right here because I remember I was in a buy or something, or I was in a sell. Actually, no, yeah, we were in a buy because we saw this. I'm trying to think. Let's see, SRs.
I know when I was like analyzing the trade because I lost, so I'm like, well, what did I do wrong? Yeah. I looked at the time and I think it was like 9:30 or 10, and I was like, nope, not trading at that time.
Yeah, the mid session is where it gets weird, bro, because like the price will move one direction from like market open like 6:30 a.m. up until like 9:30, 10, and then 9:30, 10 it starts to reverse like with the opposite direction.
That's from like after hours, right?
No, it's during US session. So it's US session my time.
You're saying 6? Okay, yeah, 9:30.
Yeah, because market opens at 6. Yeah, market opens at 6:30, and then it usually goes one direction from 6:30 until mid market, which is about 9:30, 10. And then at that point, it usually reverses because it has two impulses during the US session.
But when it opens at for your time 6:30, that's from the night before, like London session, right? Making buys and sells. I forget what they call it.
The London US crossover. Is that what you mean?
Well, when the U.S. market, when the New York Stock Exchange opens at 9:30, isn't that from like all the pending orders, like why there's so much volatility at that time?
Oh yeah. Like right on market open, it's because they have the aftermarket orders. That's what you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because in the stock market, well, the futures market's different because it's open like 24 hours. But in the stock market, the US 30 is basically a compilation of the 30 stocks within that index. So there's a bunch of orders for those stocks that are filled the night before or the day before. And then as soon as the market opens, it gets flooded in because all the orders get filled. And that's how it pushes price either up or down. And then usually right after it, it gets, it corrects back to where it was before the market opened. Yeah. So usually I usually try not to trade at 6:30 my time or 9:30 your time, I guess. Like at 6:30, there's usually like some manipulation. So I try not to enter scalps like 30 minutes before that. And I just wait for that candle to open and then I'll trade after that.
What, like 10 o'clock or just that first candle?
Yeah, just after that, or maybe like 20 minutes after. Because like, for example, here, you can see that at 6:30, it like spiked up and then it came back down and then it shot back up. So like that confirmation that I kind of look for, I wait for the movement on that first candle and I see the following move for the candle right after it. And then it usually continues on after that.
So the first candle is just kind of figuring out what it wants to do. The second candle is more of an indicator of which direction it's going to go. Not like 100%, but You're looking at that second candle more.
Exactly. It confirms the move. Like, let me see if I can find an example here. So like, yeah, so like right here, you can see that it kind of, this would be the opening candle at 6:30. And then following it was another bullish candle. So after that, it kind of pushed up slightly. So like we could probably even create a strategy off this where like the first candle moves and then the one follows it, a small scalp like right there for like a few pips.
That would have been a bad entry too, right? For a scalp, that third green candle.
Yeah,
'Cause it
exactly.
would've-
Right
yeah.
here. Yeah, it's kind of risky. That's why I usually don't do that, because it seems like that's when like most of the manipulation happens in the market anyways. But right here would be a perfect one. So like right here, for example,
Oh wow.
market opened right here at 6:30. It shot up on that second candle, and then if you decided to take a buy after that, you know, ended up closing, you could literally take this up like that.
Wow.
So it's like, I mean, this is something that I never thought about. We literally just thought of it right now. So I would have to go back and actually test it to see if it actually works or not. But for the most part, it looks like it does work. So like right here, we have a bearish candle followed by another bearish candle. And if you wanted to take a short position from there, I mean, that would have been fine too, right there, right?
Yeah.
So it actually does work. I mean, it's crazy because, we just think about this and we're like, wow, it actually works.
Is this how like you come up with strategies?
Yeah, I just find patterns. Like I look at the market and I look at charts and I'm like, oh, this looks like it works. And then I'm like, how often does it hit? So like whenever I have an idea, I'll go and then I'll back test it. Like for your example, like we had this open candle was red. It was followed by a green candle, and if you took it in that same direction after, looks like it would have hit full TP. That's like almost 2,000 pips, bro. It's a big move.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is actually pretty interesting. I never thought about this. It looks like the 640 candle, you can, once that candle closes, you could kind of just keep taking in that direction. Let's see if we can find another one here. 630. Yeah, right here again, bro. 640, it's a bullish candle. You just take another, follow it in that direction. Down, it's like 2,000 pips right there again.
Damn, this is all I need to do.
This might be the new one, bro.
I'll take my lunch break at 9.
Right? You're like, I'm gonna be gone for like, I'm gonna take a 10-minute lunch break real quick.
Start smoking cigarettes again, dude. Just now, hold on, smoke break. 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes.
Right? Yeah, I mean the win rate looks pretty decent. Like there's a couple losses here. Like this would probably be a loss, 640 right there. So this would be a loss right there. Or actually, depending on how much you're trying to aim for, if you're only going for like 500 pips, this would actually hit CP right here.
Oh wow.
So I think, yeah, for something like this, we could probably back test it, see what works. Because if it works really well, you can literally just put no stop loss and just go for like a few pips and pull out, once you make that profit.
Just enter, start trailing with the stop loss, right?
Dude, this is sick, bro. Look at this, man. 630, there's a red candle on 640. You can just take that little sell right there. Boom. Full TP. That's pretty nice.
Not even do a TP, just trail it.
Yeah.
Well, no, that second candle would have pulled back hard though.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if you were to apply this strategy, you could probably do it, but just have like a target in mind, like a set.
Yeah.
And that's how I do the back testing. Like I figure out what's like the sweet spot. And if the sweet spot is 500 pips, then I'll just go for 500 pips and just pretty much let it run. Let's see right here, 630. Yeah, because right here again, it's a red candle, enter a sell right there. If you had a 500 pip TP, looks like it might have hit it, or maybe not.
I mean, I would have pulled out if it
I pulled out. Yeah, once it drops, you can, like, honestly, what you could do is you can just enter a market order and then just watch it. As it shoots in profit, if it starts to pull back, just close out right away. But this is pretty sick, dude. I'm glad you mentioned it, because now I'm probably gonna start applying this. See this right here. Yeah, so obviously you're going to run into some losses. You're not going to find a strategy that's 100%, but I think for the most part, everything that we've looked at, or actually this is not that bad, because if you had a 500 pip TP stop loss right here, you actually would have survived it. See that? Because you would have survived the drawdown, and then you would have still hit your TP right there. So this is actually pretty interesting, bro. I'm definitely gonna like maybe test this live a few times, see how I like it, and then go from there.
Hey man, if it works, just
I
add it to the
mean, yeah,
list.
if it works, it works. You know, there's no reason for us not to keep applying it.
Oh, does that strategy that one guy came up with, the first signal Sunday on US 30s, does that actually work?
Yeah, so he's done the back test on it. It works pretty well for the most part. Here, let's go ahead and check it out real quick.
Because I remember you guys
So,
were talking about it. Haven't heard anything since.
yeah, let me just delete this stuff. The main reason I don't really talk about it as much is because I'm not on the charts on Sunday until like later in the afternoon. So like I don't really have, I mean, technically if I wanted to, I could pull it up on my phone to just follow it, but I just feel like it's too much work on my end to like.
Was that your R&R time?
Oh yeah, pretty much. Exactly. Yeah, literally.
Need that.
Yeah, I try to stay off the charts on the weekends, bro. Like it's hard because I want to keep looking, but for the most part, I try to stay off the charts just because. So let's see, the 31st right here is when the market opened. 31st right there. So the market opened there. There's the first signal. This was last Sunday. Looks like, yeah, it hit full TP right there with like little to no drawdown.
That's a 1,500 pip, right?
Yeah, 1,500 pip right there. So that's
Is
pretty
that
solid.
what the strategy calls for though?
Yeah, pretty much. You count the opening candle too, though. So you count the opening candle. If the signal comes on the opening candle, then you can take that as well. So like this was last Sunday. Let's see if there's the previous one was on the 24th. Let's see. Yeah, so the 24th was right here. Market opened right there.
Oh, it opened on the
Candle. So yeah, so I haven't tested it enough to really determine whether we should take the opening one or not. But let's just see if this hits right here. Yeah, so this looks like it might hit stop loss.
But that first red one though.
Yeah, if you skip the opening one, and then you just took the one after the opening candle, I think it might be better to take the one after the opening candle because, like just like how the other market works, it's still going to be manipulated on the open because they have the orders, sitting from the weekend, and they all get flooded in once the market reopens. So, like for example, here, if you waited for the second one, that would have been good. What's the one before that? 24th. Before that's a 17th. Let's check a couple more, see how this works. 17th over. Let's see. Yeah, over here. So the market opened right over. So it looks like it's a little bit of a double-edged sword right here, because like for example, right here, if you took the opening here, it looks like it would have hit 150.
The strategy looks pretty good for Asian Open too.
Does it? Yeah.
I just did like 4 of them.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I think it worked good for a lot of sessions because it's the same gist of it. It's just the volatility is a little lower, but it's the same gist. Like you're just waiting for the market to open, and then usually when it opens, it has some sort of direction that gets pushed. And if you end up taking, whatever opening candle, whether it be Sunday open, like full market open, New York Stock Exchange open, because another one that people used to use it for too is the London Open. That's another one. I haven't used it on Asia Open, but like since Kyle mentioned that it works well, I mean that might be something to look at as well. I mean there's a ton of different ways to apply it. It's just figuring out, like basically putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
So you're saying, like, I don't know the time off the top of my head, but Asia opens that first signal, you're taking that.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. I think that's what. Hey, Kyle, do you know what time you do it from? Let me see. So the market opens for Asia.
I do it. It's at because I have the session breaks on my.
Oh yeah.
So it's the.
How do you do that?
It's 1800.
Oh, show me that.
I think it's session chart. There we go.
Joey, if you go to your chart and you right click, like if you right click on the bottom times, it says time zone or session breaks, and I just have the session breaks. chart thing.
Oh, nice.
A dotted line comes at the session breaks. But
cool.
for like 50, if you're just trying to get like 50 points, it's good for like a quick scalp.
Oh, nice.
On a lot of them.
Dude, when I was back testing, I was actually like drawing vertical lines for like the breaks and like the times.
Yeah, you can use this indicator right here too, Joey. There's it's called sessions, or just type in sessions and indicator. It's called sessions on chart, and then you can set it from there too. Like I have right here where it just colors it. So I got sessions for. I just turned everything else off. I turned London off, New York, and Sydney, and then used Tokyo, which is Asia session. So like, yeah, looking at this here, it looks pretty solid, Kyle. Like, for example, right here, opened right here. We had a sell signal. If you were to take that, looks like it would have hit TP right there for about 1,000 pips, I assume. Again, right here, there's a buy signal on Asia Open for another full TP right there.
With no drawdown at all.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, there's probably going to be I think we should, like, if you're to apply this, there should probably be a threshold for how long you enter. Because right here, when it happens in the beginning, it looks like it hits. But over here, this signal comes like super late, like near London Open, and then it ends up losing.
Oh, like a time like.
Yeah, there's probably like
the first.
Exactly, like a cutoff. Yeah. Because right here, check this out. The first signal right here was like right after open, full TP.
Kyle, were you using the 10-minute chart?
Yeah, I was using 10-minute.
Dude, this is pretty solid. Nice. Look at this. Yeah, they all hit.
Damn.
Yeah, now you got me.
Money strategies, man. This is going to be a sought after live mentoring session.
Right?
It's going to get a lot of views.
Good for sure. Oh man, yeah, like this is pretty sick, dude. Like right here, sell, full TP. This one would have been a win, but it's kind of late. Well, I mean, I guess if we did a back test and we figured out that it hits like more often than not, even if it's late, we could probably take those late entries too and just eat those losses if that's the case.
Yeah, that really has no drawdown at all.
We have a sell signal on the 10-minute at Asian Open
for today.
Yeah, it's in profit.
I see it right here, 15.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah,
so like if you were to apply it to today, it's in profit.
Yeah, exactly. This one right here, Asia Open just had
any drawdown.
Damn. Wait, does Asia Open happen at 15 or is that 17? Because I have it right here on mine. It says 17. This is why I didn't do it during Asia session, because I wasn't sure what time it actually opened.
Well, for me, it's 18. It says
18 for you guys are 3 hours ahead. So yeah, you would so it'd be 15 for me. Let me check this real quick.
It's right at where my session break is, and then it goes from 1650 to 18.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, you have session breaks on. Yeah, there you go. So you turn that on right there. Let me just take everything off the chart.
I think you could if you the way I put my session breaks, I scroll down to the time on the bottom of the chart and right click it, and then you can turn your session break.
Okay, I got it on right here. Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah, I see it. Right here, I turned it on. Okay, I see. So that'd probably be the time that it opens.
Yeah. So then as soon as you get a candle, let's say like an hour or two within open, it should be. It looks pretty good for that on Asian Open.
Man, look at that. That's perfect.
That's solid. Like little to no drawdown right there. And then this one right here too.
If you just scalp it and try to get like
500 pips or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this seems pretty solid on open. Because that would have been full TP right there. And then this one's about to be full TP. I'm like tempted to just hop in right now and catch the last pips of it. The last 20 pips I could hop in, or 200 pips I could hop in for. Wow, look at this right here too. All of these hit pretty nice, dude. It's pretty solid. Like literally no drawdown right there. Straight to TP.
No drawdown at all.
Dude, that's crazy, man. Wow, look at this one right here too. Another one, no drawdown. All right, I'm for sure gonna start applying this. Like, dude, it's a freaking money tree right here, bro. Some money printing machine.
This trade right here is where you would be pissed that you closed early. How many
This one over here. Oh, this one would have lost, yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't mind taking that risk if I'm going for like, if I have all those other wins, I'll eat this loss any day. I'll take one loss and then.
Yeah, but you can even for this one, even though it's short of buy, it's short of sell so soon after. You can even just apply it right after that.
Exactly, right? Yeah, this is crazy, dude. Let me see. It looks like you can take the first two signals and you can scalp in both directions. So like right there is a buy, and then the following one is a sell. No, actually, this is kind of more risky. Try to stick to the first one. Yeah. So it looks like this would be a loss right here. So it still looks like it has a pretty good win rate, even though it's, we have to eat a couple losses here. I mean, otherwise, for the most part, it's a pretty decent way to trade.
And I wonder though if you're looking at that first signal, but then it's straight into the negative, and then you get that second signal, that might be, like Kyle said, that might be a good entry.
Yeah, you know what what I'm thinking is, so say if you take one and then you get stopped out, right? You can just take it in the other direction. Like for example, right here, like say we get stopped out right here, 500 pips. Like you just could just flip your position. You just take that loss right there, and then you flip it the other way, and then you just cover that loss. So it's like you never even lost.
Yeah.
Because technically, that's technically like the only times you lose, it ends up going the other way. So like if you were to take a loss right there, you just end up taking the opposite direction, and you should be fine. And then same with right here. If you lost this right here, you would just end up, switching for a sell instead, and then just cover that loss. So it's like you never even lost anything.
Oh.
So this is where it could fuck you up if it ends up hitting you both ways. So maybe this could be good, but we might have to have a bigger stop loss TP
on the second one or the first one.
Maybe for both. Maybe instead of 500, do 1,000. Because so for example here, if you were to lose this trade right here, if you get stopped out right there at 1,000, you just enter the sell there for 1,000, and then you cover it right there. So you're pretty much at break even instead of having that loss. Because like if you have all these wins right here, you could even go for 1,000 for these as well. Full TP right there.
Wow, man, could you imagine you rode that all the way up to the next signal?
Dude, crazy. I was trying to figure out a strategy where we can just take every single signal. I'm sure there's like some way to do it. We just got to figure out a pattern that plays out, like a time when to make an entry.
We were coming off a great year, and when the pandemic hit, we really had to think creatively. Teams allowed us to.
The only problem where this would really screw us over is when it's ranging. Like for this right here, this ranges for like a long time.
I really think it's going to set a standard for retail moving forward.
But even if that was the case, let me see if we ended up. So if we lost this trade right here.
Yeah, but wouldn't you on that first, even the first or the second spike up, wouldn't you just call it?
This one right here?
Yeah, wouldn't you just take that? Like I would probably take that first spike up.
I probably would have pulled out, yeah. So I think one thing to keep in mind is when it goes too far into the next session, because once we enter London session right here, it just came straight down. So maybe like before it reaches London session, like right before.
Yeah, call it a day. Yeah,
exactly. And then we could probably just apply this per session, really. Wow, look, CP would have hit right here for today's. And I'm tempted to just hop in, cash this to the next.
Oh, is that live?
Yeah, this is live right now.
Damn, Kyle does it again.
A wizard.
Give money.
Dude, yeah, no, that's nice. Dude, this is pretty sick. I'm actually gonna, I'm definitely gonna look into this. I think the 1,000 pip thing might be a better idea. because you can just flip it the other way if it ends up being a loss. But I mean, overall, it looks like it hits for the most part. Damn, this might be our new strategy, bro. Our new strategy for Asia session. So I've been looking for something that works well during Asia session. It's hard. It's hard to find something that's solid. Yeah. So like right here, we would have taken a loss, but then we would have taken another trade in the other direction to just cover that. Yeah. Dude, this is freaking. I'm kind of mind blown at this point. This 1,000 pips. Yeah, because either way, so like I'm just trying to see like when does it ever lose? Technically, you could always break even. Even if you lose, it would fall under break even from that point.
But you're saying if you lose, you instantly hop in another position.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you just reverse your position the other way. So if you're taking a buy here, if you lose that, you would just, or for example, here this like runs into London session, so we probably would have even exited this before that even happened.
What, in profit?
Yeah, because it was right here. London's right here. So you probably would have pulled out before it even got to that point because it was in profit the whole time.
I'm just thinking here, but like, say you open these trades, right? You get the signal, you open the trade. Would it be worth our while to put in a sell or a buy stop at the bottom of the stop loss?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. So if you're getting close to that stop loss, I would probably just have a sell stop already set up right there, so that when it does hit or when it does trigger, you're already in the trade. So you literally just catch it on its way back down. Yeah, dude, this is pretty solid for the most part. 55. Yeah, like even for this right here, once it reached like London, like somewhere over here, we'd still be in profit. And then we can pull out before it even gets to the London session.
What time is London?
Midnight my time, so that'd be like 3 a.m. your time, I think.
I'm sleeping.
But it looks like, yeah, so there's going to be some instances where it doesn't work out, like right here. This didn't hit. Obviously, we take the buy there. It
even the sell wouldn't have worked either.
Yeah, we would. So there's going to be some days where you get burned both ways. But I think for the most part, like for example here, this is one day where we would have gone burned. Like we'd lose 2,000 pips right here. So I could even probably do the math. So like right here, we'll start off with like a negative 2,000. And then we move forward over here. This is a win. So that's like a plus 1,000. And then this is a break even. So there's nothing there. This is I guess a win, I guess. Well, I mean, so like documenting these are going to be a little more difficult because we have like some of these where they're partial wins.
Well, I guess you say the candle before London entry, you close whatever you're.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, but it'd still hit pretty decent profit because even if we close right there, we'd still be in profit like 600 pips. So like if you wanted to count that, that's just like a plus 600. And then again right here, that's like a plus 1,000. Again over here, another plus 1,000. So technically, break even on that one. Plus 1,000 here. Break even, plus 1,000 right there. I mean, this is still pretty solid. I wouldn't mind running it if that was the case. Another plus 1,000 right there. Yeah, okay, that's fourth. This is like a partial win, so probably do like plus 600.
That was the 600. You're saying like TP1?
Yeah, TP1, or I mean, I guess it could be like, yeah, it could be somewhere around there. Because I was just looking at the numbers here. So like, for example, if we caught this up to here, it actually be a little higher. So as we got closer to here, we could probably close at maybe 500. I think once it gets to that point, we could probably move our stop loss to like 500 pips. So if it ended up swinging down on this, we would still, lock in some profits off that. But overall, I mean, this strategy is pretty solid. It looks like if we took every trade from from the 19th up until today, February 3rd, it'd be 6,200 pips in profit. So this is actually, yeah, no, this is pretty good. I'm going to go and back test this a little further, maybe later on. I have another session coming up at 5, so I'm probably going to back test that a little later. And I'll see if it works. But I mean, for the most part, it looks pretty solid to me. It's something that I definitely would be, interested in taking. I'm like tempted to hop into the sell now for this one, for the current one, because it looks like it's going to keep dropping.
Damn, look at that. That's,
Yeah.
oh man, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, like just hop back in and then catch it for another. Now I'm trying to see if there's like a scalp entry here that I can possibly take. Actually, there's a scalp entry. Oh no. Oh, it is, bro.
Yeah.
Scalp entry. Yeah, well, it looks like I'm gonna open my M24 real quick. Let me get that open real quick. Yeah.
Oh, well, that has to close under the red though, right?
Yeah, I'd have to close under the red. It looks like it's going to though. Let me see. We got about 3 minutes
Yeah.
on this candle. I'm probably just gonna hop into it anyways.
Now, if you're watching this close and like you're tempted to jump in it, but if it closes on that pip, you're aborting it, right?
Yes, correct.
Gotta have that self-discipline.
Yeah, dude, let's see if I was to take that short there. Like, what would my entry point be? It'd be somewhere around like 30732. That's not too bad. Somewhere within it. I'll probably just wait for that to close, see if it
Oh, you're basing it off of the strategy we were just looking at, the 1,000 pips, and you're saying it's
Yeah, so
looking like it could.
Yeah, so what I was doing was I was measuring it to see if it would be within the 1,000 pips right here, and it would be, because this entry would be somewhere around there. And it would just, it would fit both requirements, for example. So if I was to take this right here,
Oh yeah, look at that.
yeah. So it's basically like a 2-for-1 at that point.
Shit, you could even, yeah, that's right. You could do that.
Yeah, because this is even a better confirmation. So if you apply this strategy along with the scalping strategy, it's like, if one strategy qualifies and then the other strategy qualifies, odds are it's probably going to hit,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I took it, bro. I'm in the trade.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Hey,
actually, yeah.
Hey, Shawn, before you go,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a 50K account.
Man, let's do it.
For scalping, what do you recommend for like pip size? Would it be a 0.5?
Yeah. Lot size would be 0.5 because for me, I normally take a standard on the 100K. So if you're doing a 50K, just do half of that. So
On the scalp though?
yeah, on the scalp. Because if you're doing that, you could take about, I think for me, it's about 20 trades. Like you'd have to have literally 20 back-to-back losses to blow it, and it's odds of that happening are not likely. So like for example, I have 100K, or 10K is going to be my max loss, right? My max equity loss. Divide that by $500 each, because each trade is worth 500. I have to have 20 back-to-back losses in order for me to lose. Which
a 0.5 is $500?
No, that's for me because I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
So you'd be opposite. You'd be doing 250, right? Because you'd be half of my lot size.
Oh, okay.
So for example, for you, my max loss is 10K. For yours is 5K. Yeah, 5,000 divided by 250. It's the same thing. 20 trades back to back.
Oh, okay. That's plenty of room.
Yeah, because you're odds are if you follow what I do, where I take a break after one loss, you should be fine because you'll let the market clear up and then you'll come back when it's swinging back in your direction.
Oh, if you so if you're doing it like me and you're trading just Asia session, if you take your first scalp as a loss, you're calling it a night, or you're just waiting
waiting for it to swing the other direction. So if I take a sell and it loses, I'll wait for it to swing into a buy for a buy scalp, and I'll take trades from there. Because because you can see here that price generally swings. Like I'll go from a buy to a sell here, or like a false sell where you might lose, and then you go to a buy here and you just cover that loss, and then it just swings back and forth. Like every couple hours, it'll swing up, then it'll swing down, and then it'll swing right back up, and then vice versa. It just keeps repeating itself.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's about it. But yeah, dude, I gotta hop on this next call. So do you have any other questions before we log off?
I'm good.
All right, for sure, dude. Kyle, any questions? Or I don't know if he's still here. I think he's good.
Yeah, I'm good. I was just on the phone, so I had it muted.
Oh, for sure, bro. Yeah, dude. Thanks for this this tip, dude. This shit's fucking sick. I'm gonna hop. I'm gonna start doing this every day.
Awesome.
I'm already in it. So
Nice.
Nice.
Awesome too. So let's hope
Awesome.
hopefully this hits. But yeah, all right, guys. It was good talking to you guys. I guess we could set up another session. You guys want to do it again next week, or
Yeah, next week, same time if you're free.
let me check. Wednesday next week. I think I should be. I'll just put you guys on. If it conflicts, then I'll let you know. But I think for the most part, I think we should be good. So
Cool.
Wednesday, 4 p.m. Yeah, we should be good. All right, dude, for sure. Good talking to you guys. I'm gonna log off for a bit and I'm gonna sign on to the next one.